Hello, everybody. Hi. Hi. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello, J Red the boy. Thank you so much for the oh, that's so cute. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Cub Arcade. I'm the bear who cares Chewunky. It's nice to meet you. Hi, Chong. Welcome in. Oh, also, let's do our first intros. Let's see who got first. Was it Neo? Hi, Neo. Thank you for getting first. Hi, Indy. Hi, J Wolf. Hi, Sammy. Okay, I'm gonna put the music a little bit lower. Oh, J-Red! Oh, thank you. Hi.
Hello, Summit888. Welcome back to the Cub Arcade. How can I assist you today in making your gaming experience even more delightful and enjoyable?
Oh, Charlie,
Let's
you
chat,
little
play
bugger.
some games, and have a fantastic time together.
Hi, J-Red. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. That's amazing. I'm gonna be doing a trade with J-Red. They're gonna be making a little bit of music for the Cub Arcade.
Ooh.
Very exciting, very exciting. Also, I am with the lovely Raven Coven. Raven, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Raven Coven. I am recently going through a rebrand, but I am a cozy chaos streamer who is also a hybrid. I am a demon dragon hybrid.
I love it, I love it. And what do you usually stream, Raven?
I'm a variety streamer. I stream everything in between. So I could be streaming Overwatch one day, and then the next day I'm what's the word for it? Streaming not Overwatch.
Thank
Fortnite or
you.
something.
Thank you, J-Rod. Thank you. We are going to be going over a little bit of some sensitive topics here. I'm going to probably be stating this all around our little stream today, just because I want you all to know. And we are going to be doing a topic about inclusivity and exclusivity in the LGBTQIA2S plus community. It's 1 a.m. I'm here for sensitive topics. J-Red to the ready. We're gonna be talking a little bit about how the LGBT is inclusive, but about some of the darker sides of it, where they're not extremely inclusive, especially when it comes to And something I'm very, very, positive about here. Body positivity. Yeah. 12 a.m. Oh my goodness, y'all, it's late. Hello? But Sammy, you're up at this time anyways. I already knew. You both have jiggly chests and I don't know where to look anymore. EU
Oh, wait, I
gang.
got a toggle.
Oh, you have a
Probably went-
toggle. Oh, wait, let me see.
Oh,
Hey,
wrong toggle.
yo.
That toggle.
Oh,
I know
hi,
I like this
Gamma.
anyways.
Oh my goodness, it's fun. We started the tea party without any tea. We haven't started yet.
It's
Blah, blah, blah.
pretty.
It's pretty. Chong is like, oh. We're just gonna be waiting a little bit. Oh, thank you for the bonk, Neo. Thank you for the bonk. Mwah. Let me make sure that Mix It Up sound is on real quick. Let me make sure to go and give that a good old refresh just in case. Ooh, bark, bark, bark. It is a-okay. It is a-okay. But I would like to thank you all for coming and being in attendance for a nice educational. If you want, Raven, you can even move a bit more to the other side so they can get a full glimpse of your presence.
Ooh, true.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I forgot we're connected. Hold up.
We're not connected. Yeah, you're good.
On my screen it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh. There we go. Wait, which way?
Go to the right here. Like right here. You can go right here and then I'll go on the left.
Okay.
You come right here. Come right here. I'm standing. Yeah. There you go. There you go. There you go. Come a little bit more to the left. A little, like 4 inches.
Like that.
Little bit more. Little, like a little. Yeah. Right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there. Wonderful, wonderful. Full presence, full presence. Hi, Volpe.
Yay.
Educational. I just removed my glasses. I don't look smart anymore. Always here when I see some jiggling. I love it. I love it. So first off, we're going to be talking about a lot of the inclusivity of the LGBTQIA2S+, which even comes straight from the name itself. So when we're talking about it, the full acronym, the hi Weeb, the full acronym is L for lesbian, G for gay, B for bi, T for trans, Q for queer, I for intersex, A for ace, 2S for two-spirited, and then plus. And the plus is encompassing all of the things around. Like for instance, many people don't know that bisexuality, bisexual, is the actual blanket umbrella term for many of the different sexualities that we have out there, such as pansexuality. And of course, when we go into different sexualities and whatnot, like pansexual, it's all based off of different, different sexualities and how they're viewed, but they are mostly under umbrella terms, which is actually very, very interesting because there is a ton of different sexualities that we can actually go over as well too, if you would like to, maybe.
We can. I would not be objected to talking about different sexualities and stuff, and I can't speak, and identities.
Definitely. So some different types of the sexualities, which all is encompassing in the LGBTQIA2S
Mhm.
inclusivity, like two-spirited. Two-spirited actually comes from native tribes. They believe that they are two-spirited. They have two spirits in them, a man and a woman's spirit. And so that is encompassing within the transgender spectrum. They believe that they have one of their ancestors' spirits, I believe, in them. We can go ahead and double
Mhm.
check as well. I do not want to put anything. So, Two Spirit is a contemporary pan Indian umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe Native people who fulfill a traditional third gender social role in their community. Two Spirit people are male, female, sometimes intersex individuals who combined activities of both men and women with traits unique to their status as Two Spirit people.
Mm.
In most tribes, they're considered neither men nor women, and they occupy a distinctive alternative gender status. See, even I'm still learning here as well. And I would have completely donked up what 2S means if I didn't actually look it up. I always thought that the Q was questioning. This is interesting. See, that's I originally thought Q was questioning as well. And while some people may consider Q as questioning, I believe the official status is queer. Um, you can have bi people that are romantically attracted to one gender, but aromantically attracted to another. Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And that's something else we can go over as well. Kind of like when we have allosexual or allosexual, which
Ooh.
is a person who identifies as allosexual, typically feels sexual attraction towards other people. They may also want to have sex with a partner. People who identify with this orientation may also identify with other sexualities, such as gay, lesbian, and bi. And we can also towards say romantic, which there are different terms. So we have sexual and we have romantic. And when we're talking about them, they are exactly as they sound. Sexual, meaning that they would like to have intercourse with
Mhm.
said person and or said gender. Romantic, not necessarily meaning that they would like to have any sort of sexual intercourse with them, but form a relationship with them.
Mhm. It's that actually, while I do label as pansexual, I'm technically demisexual and panromantic. In like a similar case like that, because in my case, I can only have any like most sex I guess you could say sexual feelings with like one person, which is my current partner. And it takes a long while to build up and get to that point, if that makes sense.
We have teacher to stream now. Yes, yes. I am working to be a substitute teacher. So I am here. I am all encompassing. I like to help around the different sort of LGBT events around my school. We have little we have little LGBT events at my middle school. They're very cute. It's very cute to see the little kids running around with their stickers on and face paint, and it's very, very nice. I wish I had that growing. I've been
That would have been
having a
amazing.
hard time deciphering something with bisexuality, or if that makes me pan. I like men and women, but I am more than happy to date someone who doesn't identify with she or he since I don't really have a preference. See, like I was saying earlier, bisexuality is actually an umbrella term, because bi just means two or more. There are some people who like to get very technical with it and say that bi may mean two, but bisexuality encompasses two or more. A person who identifies as bisexual can be of any gender. Bisexuality means that a person feels attraction towards their own gender and other genders,
Mhm.
or towards anyone regardless of their gender.
Mhm. Mhm.
And a lot of people like to interchange bisexuality with pansexuality. And there's also people who kind of overlap pansexuality and omnisexuality, as these different sexual orientations refer to people who feel attraction towards people of all genders and sexes. A typical identifier for people with this orientation is that gender is not really a factor in the sexual or romantic attraction. While there's overlap between these two terms and bisexuality and polysexuality, some people may prefer to use one over the other, but they're all encompassing. A lot of the terms that we have are inclusive and not exclusive. I always considered bisexuals as people who were attracted to men or women, regardless if they were cis or trans, and pansexuals as attracted to people regardless of someone's gender identity. But I have no idea how accurate what I just said was. Well, just like I said, Sammy, it's very bisexuality is the umbrella term. So we can think of it as bisexuality is the big one, right? If you say I identify as bisexual, you can also identify as pansexual or omnisexual or polysexual. Or you can just say bisexual. And I know the terminology for a lot of people is something that's very, very intimidating.
That is the reason why some people do go as unlabeled.
Definitely. And I feel like unlabeled is also something that we can view as inclusive, because you don't have to put a label on your gender or on your sexuality if you really don't want to. I think I am biromantic and demisexual. Thank you, because that helps out a lot, and it was something that's just plagued my mind for the longest time. Of course, that's what we're here to do. We're here to kind of just allow and educate a lot of people who may not understand.
says, daily reminder that you are all amazing and I love you all platonically.
Aw, thank you, Andy. Thank you, Charlie. What do you have to say, Charlie? You little yapper. You be yapping.
Your daily also, don't mind my model mouth moving. I'm eating bread.
You're all good.
To support each other, spread kindness, and share life.
I have blueberry loaf bread that I've been keeping from eating together, all at once, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and eat all at once before it goes bad.
Hello, Zaraya got cash. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Cub Arcane. I'm the bear who cares Chewu. It's nice to meet you. How you doing? My gender and sexuality are a big what the fuck right now. And that's okay. That's a-okay. You know, I feel like sometimes we as queer people, we tend to try and rush a lot of our feelings to try and get an answer. And when we do that, sometimes I feel like we tend to misplace ourselves or put ourselves in a bubble that we're not necessarily comfortable with or understand completely. And I strongly believe the research that we do will put us in a more safe space so that we are able to, and wonderful, or not wonderful, so that we're able to, and so that we are understanding of what we're labeling ourselves as. And I feel like it's in this day and age, they just snatched my beard. They just snatched my beard. I'm a twink. But I feel like labeling especially this day and age, it can be important to a lot of different people, and that goes into the exclusivity of a lot of our community that I think we have to work on. Hello, Mrs. Seka. Thank you so much for the first time chat. We're both doing really, really well. How are you? My gender is mean to me. Sometimes I wish I was a boy, but other times I'm really happy I'm a girl, and it's very confusing. With that, I feel like not talking about sexuality. So we've been going through the different types of sexualities and romanticisms that are in the LGBTQIA2S plus community. And we're gonna continue on it, but let me take a tangent off to the side to talk a little bit about gender here and how gender identity can be very hard, especially when you yourself, when everyone can get very confused about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Demon Kitty, how you doing? How you doing? I'm glad you're doing well.
Little quick insert as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the rushing to labels, as well as also constant kind of confusion about identities and stuff like that, a lot of it also has to tie in with the fact many queer identifying people and all that, a lot of the time are neurodivergent as well, and that has a huge factor in how people view themselves, whether it like sexuality, gender, etc. That's a large factor with it as well. Okay. That was my little insert.
Mm-hmm. I feel like also kind of going a little bit back. I referenced this on my previous stream. If you were here, you heard me talk about this with Rico a bit, but we were talking about how it hasn't been very long since you know, being queer was seen as a mental disorder, and to some people
Mm-hmm.
today it still is. And to kind of loop that into it without knowing and without understanding. And there's still a lot
Mm-hmm.
about, neurodivergence and autism and the spectrum, because it's very there's a queer joke that goes autism is on a spectrum and so is my sexuality.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of like perfectly encompasses a lot of what queer people feel, especially neurodivergent queer people.
Oh yeah.
But going back to kind of going over the sexualities that are currently, known and what we consider them to be. We also have androsexual, which are people who consider
Ooh.
themselves um androsexual, feel attraction towards men and males and perceived masculinity, whether or not they were, whether someone is assigned male at birth or not. It's that attraction towards masculinity, which I myself, I believe I am androsexual, because I do have an affinity towards a lot of masculine features and traits. And here's another thing: is when we think about what we're attractive to or attracted to, we take it into our own bubble, we take it into our own selves to say, I'm attracted to masculinity. But what does masculinity, if masculine, what masculinity looks like to me may look different to another person.
Mm-hmm.
Same with femininity.
Oh
Something that
yeah.
may be perceived as feminine to one person could be seen as masculine to the other, and vice versa as well. My model, I think, can look a bit feminine, but to others, all they see is the protruding muscles and they believe me to be masculine, which is why I also have my other outfit where people may see that, oh, well, she was wearing his alternative outfit at the moment. Um, and he is still masculine, but his clothes are feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that we'll be talking about a little bit later. This all encompassing inclusivity versus exclusivity in
Mm-hmm.
our own community has so much intersectionality, from race, from bodily features to
Mm-hmm.
facial features to even the clothes that we wear.
Oh, a lot of it is also dealing with like the trends and stuff that happen. Like example, like with some of the colors, Pink used to mean boy and blue used to mean girl, and then I think it was like the 18th century, not 18th century, 19th century, 20th century. It essentially flipped it on itself, and all of
Um,
a sudden it was
mhm.
deemed, oh, blue is masculine, pink is feminine.
Which a lot of that
And
contributed with the what is it, Zionism and the
mhm,
hatred that Hitler had portrayed, because Hitler also viewed homosexuals as sick and twisted and would label them with a bright pink triangle.
mhm. Yup.
Wait, sorry. Going into another one. This is a sexuality I feel like gets a lot of um discrimination and not enough love and acceptance, which is asexuality. I feel like it's very, very,
Mhm,
very misunderstood, because
mhm.
asexuality is also an umbrella term to encompass a load of broad spectrum of sexual orientations. Also, hello, Zuzu Hug. Welcome to the Club Arcade. I'm the Bear Who Cares Chewunky. It's nice to meet you. How are you doing?
That's
Bisexuality is
also
like, yeah,
sorry.
go. Sorry, I said bisexuality.
Sorry. I was about to say asexuality is also one of the things that's like on a spectrum as well.
Mm-hmm.
That you could
Mm-hmm.
have any form of it. Like you can be like there's many asexual people who actually has sexual relations with their partner,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
there's asexuals that are absolutely repulsed by it. It's a like full different spectrum
Exactly,
as well.
exactly. Hi, how are you doing?
Mhm.
Thank you for the first time chat as well. The masculine urge to shove my face into him both. Exactly. And what if that's a feminine urge?
Oh.
Huh? Huh? Excuse me, this stream partner, 10 out of 10, love the black and purple? Yes,
Thank
this is
you.
Raven.
Hi.
Cross, oh, thank you for the bits. Get loved on, you handsome bean. And thank you, Zuzu. Also, hi, Garg. Welcome in. You're gonna see. This is our educational stream, but you're gonna see.
Cosplay22
Oh my
says,
lord,
get loved on you
Charlie.
handsome being.
You're gonna see a little sneak peek as to what you'll be doing. What do you gotta say, Charlie? My little yappy. Oh, oh. I guess my bear. He usually talks. I think I shut him up. Poor Charlie. But
Thank
going.
you,
Oh,
Cosplay22, for the effect.
oh, you just cut off.
Oh,
That's too funny.
Charlie's been sent to the shadow realm.
Poor Charlie. But so going back to asexuality, it's a big spectrum where some people may experience no sexual or romantic attraction toward anyone, while others may experience, like Raven was saying, a varying degrees of sexual and or romantic attraction towards other people. Thank you a ton for talking about the A spectrum. I actually didn't know, and now I'm reading up on it, and I appreciate it. Of course, Dizzy, and thank you for the first time talk or the first time chat. I really appreciate it. This is what I was saying previously as well, that I feel like asexuality and ace is they're very, very misunderstood. And when
Mhm,
people say that they're ace, that they don't understand that it's a spectrum, and that they're not fully understanding
mhm,
either what the other person is conveying, and it can get lost in translation, because those who identify with ace can be sex averse, which is when a
mhm,
person is averse to or entirely disinterested in sex and
mhm.
sexual behavior. And then they can be sex favorable,
8838 says,
which
Charlie, any recommendations on how to commit tax fraud?
Hmm?
Charlie,
Mm.
Charlie, no tax fraud.
The same can also be added with aromantic
Same
as
at
well.
888. Let's
Is
keep
it
things
aromantic?
light and legal in the cavalcade.
Charlie.
How
It's
about we
aromantic.
focus on playing some fun
But
games
the
and
same can
enjoying
also be said with
entertaining
that one.
conversations
It's a similar
instead?
spectrum as well
Let's stick to
towards
spreading cheer and
like
positivity while
the
having a
idea of
great
like
time
romance
together.
of being like completely
Remember, following
adverse
the
to it
rules ensures
or
a happy
being
gaming
favorable towards it as
experience
well.
for
That
all.
one is also one I don't really see like too much information about as well.
Oh, but can you say that one again? I'm so sorry. Charlie was yapping.
Aromantic. I think it's
Mm.
aromantic. Is it
Yes,
aromantic?
yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. That's another one I really also don't see too much about is like again that also being a spectrum of either being completely adverse to romance and the other one being favorable to romance as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly. And so that kind of just goes in because we have people who are asexual and or aromantic as well, who can be either sex averse, sex favorable, sex indifferent, sex repulsed, and that all goes under romanticism as well. Romantically averse, romantically favorable, romantically indifferent, romantically repulsed. Where most people think that whenever we say I'm asexual, they just automatically think you are either sex repulsed or sex averse entirely 100,000%. You will never
Mhm.
ever be interested in anything sexual, or you will be actually disgusted by a sex and or
Mhm.
sexual behavior, but that's not the case, as there's so much more that goes into it. There's also cupiosexuality, where if someone identifies as cupiosexual, if I'm not pronouncing these correctly, I'm so sorry. I'm just reading words here. I'm just a bear.
I feel that.
I'm just a bear. But if you identify as cupiosexual, they don't experience sexual attraction, but still desire to engage in that behavior or to have a relationship, to have a sexual relationship. Also,
That's fair.
um, libidoist asexual returns to asexuals who experience sexual feelings that they can satisfy themselves.
Gargagao says, you're a beautiful
Hmm.
bear who's trying.
Oh, thank you, Guy. It's a lot easier for me to be physically attracted to someone than romantically attracted to someone, which I think makes me demi-romantic. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Thank
Mhm.
you,
Charlie.
Gargagao, for the sweet compliment.
Why
I
did
may
they say
be a
it like
bear of
that?
few words, but I strive to bring joy and help in the cavalcade. Your
Charlie
encouraging
is
words
responding
mean a
to
lot.
Gargoyle,
Let's
and they said,
continue making
ga
the
ga
arcade a
ga.
place of fun, kindness, and togetherness.
Charlie, ga ga ga.
The true LGBTQ icon, Lady Gaga Gaga.
I'm getting this still Charlie. But continuing on, we also have gray sexual. Those are gray sexual experience sexual attraction either infrequently or just not very intense. And also gray romantic, which is the same except romantic attraction rarely or not very strongly. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means it's on a lower it's on a lower version than maybe someone who is normally sexually out there, or I don't want to say normally because normal is also a standard. It is a difference because we have
Mhm.
people who can range from like hypersexual to gray sexual to just maybe a standard array of sexual and sexualness.
Mhm.
Um, but all of this also is just encompassing. So when you're talking about asexuality, aromanticism, it's those are both umbrella terms like bisexuality, where we talk about it doesn't necessarily mean one exact thing or the other. It can in some cases, but in other cases, there are also asexual people who want that romantic attraction, so they're not asexual and aromantic. You can be asexual demi-romantic. You can be asexual biromantic, or you can be bisexual aromantic and enjoy having sex with different people, but not want to develop aromantic experience, or maybe you are bisexual and gray romantic on the aromantic spectrum, which means that you may experience romantic attraction extremely rarely or not very strongly at all. And if you didn't look into it, and if you're not really understanding what is going on, wait! If you're there and you're not really understanding what asexuality and aromanticism is, then you won't know. But Raids, hello Raiders! Hi! Oh my god, they're covering your face, Raven.
Oh no! Wait, let me delete. And I think we're in the way. Yeah!
Thank you, Dakiya-sama, for rating the channel with 2 viewers. Welcome, waiters. Your cousins adds to the excitement in the Kabak here. Let's make this raid a soothing and enjoyable adventure filled with gaming relaxation, laughter, and moments of tranquility. Get ready for a calming and delightful time in the arcade.
Welcome in, Raiders. Hello, hello, hello. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Hello, hello, Dekokata. Thank you so much for coming in as well. Hi, Deki. How was your stream? I hope it was absolutely fantabulous. We are currently doing an LGBTQIA2S plus educational stream here with my good pal, Raven. Raven, would you like to introduce?
Sorry, I was taking my shirt quick. I also have a piece of bread in my mouth, so I'm so sorry. Hi, I am a comfy chaos hybrid VTuber. I am a demon dragon VTuber. As Shua said, my name is Raven. I am a variety streamer that does a bunch of different games. I'm also really bad at games, but I still play them anyways because they're fun.
You can follow Raven. They are in my title. You can click the name. It should be clickable. There. If not, then you can also go to Raven _Coven.
Oh
that would be absolutely
you
wonderful.
Look like the 4th of July.
Oh,
Want a hot dog real
you look just like the
bad.
4th of July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. Thank you,
Well, it's
Gargoyle, for the Jennifer Chewerledge redeem. During this wonderful time, I love the gays, and the gays love me. But if you would like to, you can go and give a follow to Raven too as well. I would absolutely adore it. You're such a wonderful, wonderful person. Thank you so much, Ducky, for the beautiful, beautiful raid. I really appreciate it. Aha, I've tricked you. I don't have the clip command on. You've activated my trap card. The Jennifer Chewerledge trap card. No clippies. I think only my clip button works. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I'm just a bear. But going back to our original stream here, we also have autoromanticism. Or people who are autoromantic experience romantic attraction toward themselves. It doesn't mean that they don't also experience romantic attraction towards others, but mainly towards themselves. As well as autosexual, which is it's the same. It's they experience sexual attraction towards themselves. We also have under the curious spectrum, we have bi-curious. People who identify as bi-curious are interested in having a sexual or romantic experience with someone of the same gender. Or you could inversely, because the term does go both ways, be someone who is homosexual, experiencing attraction to the same gender, and become bi-curious as to what the opposite gender is of. Thank you so much, Nickel Carter. This is my Jennifer Chewerledge voice. If you've ever watched Legally Blonde with the hit character Jennifer Coolidge plays, and she goes, "Oh, you look just like the 4th of July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. Jennifer Coolidge is schooling you homos. We're learning all about the gays today, okay? Happy Pride Month, bitches.
Every time you do Jennifer Coolidge, I have to mash the impulse to want to do it back as a stem.
Thank you
I've
for the
discovered I
bonk.
can do her.
Thank you
Ever
so
since I
much,
discovered I could do her
Jeffrey. Welcome
voice.
in. We have 2 more minutes of Jennifer. Moving onwards, we're also going
Hikakura
towards
100
um
says, free
oh,
hugs.
free hugs indeed. Biromanticism and bisexuality, which we originally talked about in the first section of the stream, but we can go over. Raven, would you like to go over biromanticism and
Hikakura 100 for
sexuality
offering
after
free
Charlie
hugs.
stops
Your
yapping?
gesture of spreading warmth and kindness is deeply appreciated
Absolutely.
in the Kabake. Let's embrace the positivity and continue to build a supportive and
Oh
caring
Lord, he
community
naked.
together. Virtual hugs all around.
Oh,
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I don't at all regret making these redeems. Not at all. Not at all.
oh.
Alrighty, Raven, would you like to go over biromanticism and bisexuality a little as a reminder to our audience today?
Absolutely. As with similar with the sexuality, except in the romantic sense, essentially bisexual and biromantic is that attraction to two or more um of the opposite gender. Gender? Or is it gender or sex again?
It's
Gender.
the feeling of attraction towards their own gender or other genders, or towards
Yes.
others regardless of gender.
Yes.
And we're done. Oh my god. Thank you, Gargoyle, for the Jennifer Coolidge redeem. That was my Jennifer Coolidge voice. But moving forward from bisexuality and biromanticism, we have something that's been brought up a lot in chat, which is demi-romanticism and demisexuality. Demi-romanticism and sexuality, being as people who identify as such as demi, usually do not feel romantic or sexual attraction towards people with whom they don't have a strong emotional bond with. Whether this means that they've had to, be with the person for quite some time, or be with people who they need to have that established bond already. There's a whole bunch of different ways in which you can develop an emotional bond, and demi people need to have that bond in order to feel either that romantic or sexual attraction towards them. There are also some people who are demisexual who may not have interest or only a slight interest in sexual activity as well. And that's leading us to me. Hi. Hi, gay. That was a bad joke. Hi, bear. So, gay being obviously the encompassing term that many people use for being gay, typically only feel sexual attraction towards people of the same gender. Socially, people use this term to refer to specifically men or masculine presenting people who are romantically and sexually attracted. However, gay is also an umbrella term. You can also call someone, who is of the queer community, you can call them gay as well, which is how many of us have introduce each other or talk to each other. We like to say, hi, gay. That is the global greeting. Such as the memes on TikTok where they say, "Hi, gay, sashay into wonderful deals." Oh, Kurt. But gay and homosexuality and lesbian referring extremely or not extremely mostly to women or people who develop sapphic and sexual romantic feeling towards other women. Some non-binary people, those who do not identify with the traditional binary sexes of male and female, may also identify as lesbian. There has been a big debate, however, on whether the term lesbian is used for non-binary people who do not identify as either male or female. There are some people who are saying that the terms gay and lesbian should only be used towards the masculine and feminine and be non-binary people whose gender, maybe even agender, people who don't follow the gender stereotypes or whatever we would want to call it, the spectrum of gender as well, should have a different word. And that kind of just leads us into more of the exclusivity in our own community.
Like as a slight example of that, like my own partner identifies as gender fluid, but she at the same time she also identifies as lesbian. And that also ties in like with the like the again the, like the title difference, because while they are identifying as gender fluid, they also are identifying as lesbian because they of their attraction only to like AFAB, or at this point it better just be me anyways. but but um but at the same time, that's what they're identifying as. And again, that label, it's a lot of there's a lot of controversy in like the community about like using that label, as well as I have seen some controversy about the same time of um mask presenting non-binary
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
also being excluded, but for using the what's the word for it, using the title of like gay for being in a relationship with a man, even though they're non-binary,
Mm-hmm.
even though
Mm-hmm.
it's that's yeah. And it's even though it's considered as an umbrella term, there's some people that like are super hardcore specific that, oh, it's that title, it only belongs to this group, you can't use it if you're
Mm-hmm.
not this.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Exactly,
I have
exactly.
seen that. I
And
have
that
seen
kind
that a
of like
lot.
it goes a lot towards just the I feel like once as a community, obviously we have these labels for a reason. We have these labels to kind of show and identify one another, and to help identify and to help us kind of see like, oh, this person is interested in these types of people. This person is identified so that they can, identify with these types of people. But I feel like they can also be a little restrictive where if I accidentally use maybe a term that may not be specifically for me, then people will say, no, you can't use that. You're not X, Y, or Z, which leads us to we are inclusive, but also exclusive, which is the whole idea towards the stream, which I'm going to be saying a shit ton, because we are going to be diving into some deeper topics. Right now, I just wanted to go in and kind of, you know, explain a lot of what different sexualities and sexual terms and gender terms mean, so we have a background towards that. Zuzu says, I've been
Also,
identifying as bi-romantic, but I have such a strong presence for women, so I always end up being like, do I only like women or others too? Which brings
really
up a
quick,
very good point. Yes, sorry, Raven.
Nico Caro says good night.
Oh, good night, Nico.
And
But
also on the topic of that. Sorry.
Yes. I was going to say that on the topic of being biromantic and having a preference, preferences are fine. You are still valid in your bisexuality, in your pansexuality, in your demisexuality. You are still valid if you have a 70-30 split. You have a 90-10 split. Being bisexual, being on that spectrum, does not mean you have to have a 50-50 split. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to be 50-50 or you have to be, you know, a certain percentile. And if you're not, then you are not bisexual, because that's not how that works. We're all on a spectrum, and spectrums are all encompassing. Also, hello, Himiko Purple Wolf. Welcome to the Club Arcade. I'm the bear who cares, Chewonky. It's nice to meet you. Yes, go. Sorry.
I have friends that are in that same boat where they have a strong preference for one gender over the other, but they still identify as like pan or bi, but again they're not like dead set on like, oh, I like this and this equally. It's like, no, I like say, oh, I like femme presenting, but I do have some preference for mask presenting, but not entirely, as an example.
Exactly. It's all a spectrum, and we have to keep that in mind, especially when we're talking about issues like this, because when we're talking about the inclusivity and exclusivity of our own community, we need to be aware of where it's happening. When people are coming in and saying, I ain't sipping the pee-pee, I'm chugging it. Hi, Alistair, how you doing? I remember a YouTube movie reviewing saying a hetero relationship between two bisexuals is cheating. Oh, the low-key series. See, that's something I don't understand. Why is it cheating? You are bisexual whether you are dating the opposite sex, the same sex, you know, someone who doesn't identify with a gender, you are still bisexual. You are still on that spectrum. You're still valid. Like I said previously, even if you're 60-40, even if you are 80-20%, right? 80 towards women, 90 or 20 towards men, or even if it's anything else, if you're maybe like 40 towards men, 20 towards non-binary, and then 40 towards women, like, it's all a spectrum. And the representation, see, that's something we'll get into a little bit later as well, is the representation. The reason we have to fight for more representation is mostly because we are getting representation, and even though it isn't the representation we want, it is still representation and it still matters. But it is our community, and we are allowed to be picky about what represents us. But going back into our sexual terms in our educational stream today, we have monosexual, which is the all-encompassing, all sexual orientations that feel romantic or sexual attraction towards only one gender. Bark for alpha? Hello? What?
What?
I don't know, man. I'm keeping my eye on you, Bobby. Keeping my eye on you, Bob. But multisexual is the broad encompassing term. Like I've said before, we are all about inclusivity in so many of these sexualities and orientations that many of them are used as umbrella terms. Monosexual is heterosexuality, gay, lesbian. That's when you are only attracted romantically or sexually to one gender. Multisexual is the more broad term that encompasses all sexual orientations in which people are attracted to more than one gender. which also is where people kind of like to differ from one another. That's when you have people who are bisexual, and that is still under multisexual. But if you like more than just men and women, and you also like non-binary or non-gender identifying individuals, that's where I was saying people may try and get a little technical with you and say, no, you are multisexual, not bisexual, but they're all under an umbrella term. They're all encompassing, they're all inclusive. Like monotheism and polytheism, if we compare it. Yeah, in essence.
Yeah.
Like multi is like, yeah, exactly. Pansexual and omnisexualism being gender or sexual orientations referring to people who feel attraction towards people of all genders and sexes. A typical identifier for people with that type of orientation is the gender isn't necessarily a factor in the sexual or romantic part of it. And while there's still a little bit of overlap between those two, and bisexuality and polysexuality, some again might want to prefer to use one term over the other, which again is extremely fine. It is a-okay to do. That is perfectly fine. It is your identity, it is your sexuality. You get to say what you are and identify how you are. There's also, obviously, when we're talking about this, we're not talking extremely, or not extremely, but we're not talking exclusively sexual. We're also encompassing the romantic feelings and separating sexualism and romanticism. Seriously, I still do have a type. Does that negate? It does not, Alistair. Before you came in, actually, we were just talking about how having a type and having, you know, a preference is okay because it does not diminish your sexuality. Even if you have that 90-10% split, if you're only 10% attracted to males, 90% attracted to females, you can still identify as bisexual because there is still that attraction there. There is still that sexual attraction or romantic attraction that you would date and or have intercourse with someone of the same gender and or opposing gender or gender that's not conformed. Going from that, we're going into the polysexual, which is obviously people who identify as poly usually feel sexual or romantic attraction towards more than one gender and more than one person at a time at the moment as well. Hi, Mafia. Welcome in. Welcome to the Cowboy Kid and the Bear Who Cares Jimbo. It's nice to meet you. How are you doing? We also have queer, which is what I identify as personally. I've come across a lot of people who confuse polysexual with polyamorous. Polyamorous is the act of having multiple partners. It's all good. It's all good. How are you doing? I also want to say Raven's model is killing it. It's like, agreed.
Thank you.
We were having a jiggle off. We were having a little bit of a jiggle off. Guys, we're doing a educational pride stream. Hi, don't mind me, just a dork passing by. Hi, Ash, welcome in. Thank you for the first time chat. It's totally fine. I hope you enjoy your time here. But we're going towards queer, which is what I identify as, which is people of all sexualities under the LGBTQIA2S plus umbrella may also identify simply as queer. Historically, many people used it as a big slur, but people of our community may now choose to reclaim it. We like to use it. It's not a good idea if you're not a part of the LGBT to use that word though. So don't use it if you're not. We've reclaimed it. We have reclaimed that word. I identify as it. I say it all the time. But if you tell me I am queer, I will agree with you, but I'll give you a weird look too. I'll be like,
Yeah.
we also have sexual fluidity, which is people's sexuality that can be fluid, obviously. Scoliosexual, people who identify as scoliosexual are only feel attraction towards people who are non-binary. Spectrosexual is a term that describes those who are romantically and sexually attracted to multiple sexes, genders, and gender identities, but not all of them. They're them queerosexual people. I now identify as a queerosexual. But there's so many like we've been talking about this whole stream thus far. Sexuality is on a spectrum, and it can be, honestly, some people like to call it a sliding spectrum, where they can say that, oh, you can be exclusively heterosexual or predominantly heterosexual, incidentally homosexual, or equally homosexual and heterosexual. It's a large scale, a very, very large scale that goes towards many, many, many different things. And no matter what, you are a part of the legitimate equa, yes. You're a part of the LGBTQIA 2S plus community, and you are loved here. You are accepted, and I want you all to know that and have a wonderful, wonderful, and happy Pride. We're not done, but I just want to let you all know that you are all more than welcome here in the Cub Arcade. That is why I have a space. That is why I am positioning, or that's why I have so many friends on, and I'm gonna have so many more. We have over 25 plus different content creators, including Raven, that are gonna be here, and we're gonna be talking and educating all about Pride and how everyone should know the first Pride was a riot. As we all know, the first Pride was a riot, so don't stop fighting. As Marsha P. Johnson has said, if we are not all equal until everyone is equal. What does Raven identify with?
Hi, I am pansexual and non-binary. Well, I identify as pansexual, but most of my lean is panromantic, demisexual. But I am also non-binary. I use all pronouns.
Slay, slay. Ace, let's go. Hi, CJ. How you doing? And now, yes.
And also, how you mentioned it was a spectrum. It's also a spectrum throughout your life where labels do change, and it's okay if said labels do change.
I believe we do have an ad break coming up in about 40 seconds, but real quickly, as I believe Sammy had stated, there's some people who, you know, their sexuality and or their or orientation has changed because they have found someone who they are romantically interested, and they were not of, you know, either they were trans or non-binary. And as we say, it is all a spectrum, all encompassing, and like Raven had just said, it is ever changing as well. So when we come back from the break, we will be talking a little bit more about the negativity and exclusivity in our community. TJ says, hi, Raven.
Hi.
Let's give it a little bit of little bit of time. Let's pull up some of our non our exclusive points. I'm in the corner. Watching you kiss her. Whoa. I have such a gay playlist on right now. It is full of queer music.
That's a mood. Also, I thought you were just gonna say it's such a gay, just leave it at that.
It's such a gay.
It's
Such a
such a gay.
queer. Such a queer little rainbow baby.
I've discovered the ad break.
Yeah. Dixon Dallas or Dixon Dallas. Oh, I love me some Dixon Dallas.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, Good Looking came on at work the other day,
Oh.
and let's just say, thank God I have my headphones,
Oh my god.
cause, especially like during the school year.
Oh
So I
yeah.
also listen to audiobooks,
Mm.
and I'm it had one not even 30 minutes into the book. I just turned it on. I was like, "Oh, this looks pretty cool." I walk into the classroom to start cleaning, and it's just the rawest scene possible in
Oh
my
my
ears. I'm just like
god.
the 1,000-yard stare, just like,
Hello, hello, June Kane. Welcome to the Cup Arcade. I'm the Bear Who Goes True. It's nice to meet you. How you doing? I love that. I love that for you too, Alistair. That's hilarious. But so now that we are back from our ad break, let us kind of talk about more of the exclusivity. So I am going to warn you, like I did in the beginning of this, we're going to be going into some of the darker parts of the LGBT community that many people don't really like talking about. I'm not saying that I enjoy talking about it. I'm just stating that this is something that people don't necessarily talk about in such detail because it does put us in a negative spotlight, and there's already enough of that going on
very
nowadays.
taboo.
Very,
Well,
yeah, very taboo.
yeah.
Which actually brings me to the first part. We should not say gay and taboo in the same language. That is something that is not that I have learned.
Mhm.
I have
Gargagal
a
says,
oh
Kiras, sure. We're ready.
oh my god, Charlie is killing me. Gar
Try
just typed another thing, and Charlie goes, "Ga ga ga,
Keep things squeaky clean in the cavalcade. Gargagal.
ga
How
ga
about
ga."
we focus on spreading joy and playing fun games
I'm
instead?
dead. I'm dead.
We're
I'm
all here to
sorry.
have a good time and create a positive
our Lord and Savior
atmosphere together.
Now
Let's
that
keep
that's
the
given us
energy
a
light and
lightened
happy.
mood, now that that's given us a lighter mood, um, I will talk about this subject, and I want you all to know that it is something that I found out completely by accident, and something I did not want to know. If I'm completely honest, if I could, I would delete this from my memory. But I will preface this with I have a exhibitionist fetish where I would enjoy doing stuff in the outdoors. Obviously not getting caught or anything like that, but outdoorsy. And so a lot of people call that perversion, pervert, as we all know. And so somebody had once asked me if I was a perv. I did not really understand the question. And I learned that that is terms for drug use and taboo can also be
Oh.
a little term for poop play.
Oh.
And also people who like minors.
Disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, hello, Les Game. Welcome to the Club Arcade. I'm the Bear Who Kissed Shoe. It's nice to meet you. Absolutely
that is my
disgusting.
sorry.
And now that
Really,
that
really
is
quick.
over with, yes.
Sorry, really quick. That is one thing I will say. Anyone that's child or animal does not belong in the community. That is the one thing
Mm-hmm.
I am firm
Mm-hmm.
on.
Mm-hmm. And
Like
that's
furry
that's also
community,
something that
LGBT community.
they're trying to slither their disgusting little fucking claws into,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Oh
does
yeah,
not stand. Mm-mm.
it's anyone that has the term map
Mm-hmm.
normally in their
Mm-hmm.
bio and stuff like that, because
Or
that means
zoo.
zoos as well. Because map is minor attracted person, which is where they get the acronym, and they have it's like a weird squiggle symbol on their flag that they have made to try and include themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've a Pride
As for
Month,
yay,
but
as
yeah,
for zoos, I'm not sure what their
they have like a Z.
flag
They have like a Z on
is.
their
It
flag
Z?
or something like that, like a squiggly Z or some sort of
Mhm,
symbol. Yeah, very stinky indeed.
mhm, mhm.
Um, but that is one thing that I found out and I did not want to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sexuality is based on two consenting individuals, and children and
Mhm,
animals cannot, and that's just
mhm.
exactly, precisely. Now that that one is over, let us move on to something less nasty. But identities. We just talked about sexualities. We just talked about
Mhm,
genders, romanticism, sexuality, sexualism. Now, in our community, there are still people who do not respect them. There are
mhm.
still people who, if you identify as something other than LGBTQ, even just that, even just that, then they
Mhm.
typically will not respond. There's a lot of hate towards specific identification, which sounds
Like,
crazy.
yeah, there's a lot of it towards non-binary as well as like pansexual because there's a lot of like the belief of oh you can only like one or the other, and it's like bi erasure is really bad in some of the communities because I there's been multiple posts going around that because Twitter thinks I'm transphobic for some fucking reason, about like, oh, they
Gargagal
identified
says,
as this.
respect
Well,
pronouns
I
and
identify as
genders,
a helicopter.
Madazukas.
That type
Mm-hmm.
of thing going around
Mm-hmm.
again.
Ga ga ga. What do you have to say, my yapping little cub? Before we continue, so he does not interrupt us.
Absolutely, Gargagal. Respecting pronouns and
Ga ga
genders
ga.
is essential in creating a welcoming and inclusive atmosphere in the club arcade. Let's celebrate diversity, support each other, and embrace the
Yes.
unique identities of everyone in our community.
Period.
Together,
Period,
we
Charlie.
make the arcade a safe and accepting space for all.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you are talking about, Alistair. Yeah. There's a lesbian dating app that will not allow transgender women onto it.
Speaking of transgender women, there's also something going around recently. It's a trans woman. She's a food reviewer that has been going around on I think TikTok and Twitter, and people have been like outright like hateful towards her of being like, "Oh, stop! You're like doing these reviews and all this because it's people misgendering her." Well, the full video itself is since she's a full food reviewer, if I can talk. Um she actually calls these restaurants ahead of time, being like, "Hey, I use these pronouns. Can you let the staff know so that they actually genuinely respect her pronouns?" And the videos that people are seeing is her correcting them and her talking about and having like a breakdown over the fact like it hurts that she's constantly getting misgendered, and people are like going off on her because it's Twitter, and what they're not like realizing is the full story of it is the fact that she's letting these places know ahead of time that she's coming, that she's a food reviewer, she's going to be recording, and that she wishes for her actual pronouns to be used correctly. But it's staff and stuff doing it on purpose and misgendering her.
Mhm. Mhm.
And she's recording these and posting these, and people are also, and of course, live streaming this as well, and her correcting them. And she's been getting a lot of hate for it because people are only seeing the side of it of she's correcting them, and that she's making a video about how it hurts that she's getting misgendered.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they've I like it has been attack after attack on her. And it's insane to, and like a lot of this is also from members of the community that are doing this. Like not only not only queer but like other trans people as well, actively attacking and claiming that she's attention seeking. And that also shows that like it's not just one group of people doing this,
Mhm.
but like people from the community and even people that align with the same ideals as you are also doing it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that leads us into our excuse me, topic of sexuality and how people are not as accepting as you think it would be,
Mhm.
especially in our community. And this is something that I find very, very near and dear to my own heart, since I am gender queer and I do not confer with any sort of gender. I do allow everyone to call me any pronouns they want, simply because I don't care. I don't really have a preference for pronouns. If you want, you can call me Chubu. That's basically it. If you feel like you don't want to call me any pronoun, but if you do want to call me a pronoun, whatever you feel I present as, you are more than free to call me. But with that being said, I had gone over this with I believe Canary on our very first interview, which was palatability
Mhm.
and how a lot of the times, especially in media, when we see a
Mhm.
transgender individual, 9 times out of 10, they are female to male.
Mhm.
And I was talking with many different friends of mine, and they're saying that it's seen as more palatable to have a female transition into a male when most of the time, like more than enough times, we see that happening in movies or now TV shows. That's happening. Um, a lot of these individuals are non-binary and gender non-conforming, um, and giving a sort of almost androgynous look to them as well. And whenever we do see, or whenever we have seen people who are maybe MTF, male to female, they're seen more joking or seen more in a sort
Mhm.
of drag and or performance style, especially
Mhm.
within media.
Or
Um,
like comic relief only
exactly.
purposes.
Exactly, exactly. We'll see them and they won't be like, oh, hey, like this is a trans woman. They're mostly used as comic relief or kind of like a, ah ha ha, oh, they like to dress as a woman. And it's,
Or like a dress and drag and do the hula version.
yeah, yep, yep. And then the just the way that a lot of heteronormative media, which is almost all of our media nowadays, it
Mhm.
portrays it as, oh hey, they like to dress up in little funny things, But then when somebody actually does that and identifies with that, then they get scolded. They're like, no, you're not supposed to do that. But then when, so and so wants to go ahead and do it as like a Halloween costume or as a little, a prank or something, that's mostly what is seen within media.
Mhm.
But then when their son goes ahead and says, I want to wear a dress, then all of a sudden it goes from being funny, hee hee ha ha, to being that's disgusting. Why are you doing
Mhm. The thing that gets me also is, as like an example off the top of my head, there is, I think it's with the religion that relates with the Quran Muslim, I believe.
that? Mm.
They, it's almost like the polar opposite. Um, they do believe that you can transition into the other, but same-sex relationships are a no-go. And it's kind of also like a little bit surprising to me, but at the same time, like also understanding if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like
It's
that's one example of like some of the stuff.
yeah, which is completely understandable too within our the realm of what we're talking about. Um, where it's very odd because we're such a large group. You would think we would be so inclusive because of all of the hate and all of the negativity and all of the, everything that's been encompassing us that has been all of this hatred towards our
Mhm.
specific group as a community. Because it's not just towards one, it's towards everyone. And there are sections that they attack quite often,
Mhm.
like all of the over 360 bills currently in office right now trying to be passed out our anti-trans, anti-drag
Mhm.
legislature that is trying to get trans individuals, trans young individuals, drag
Mhm.
queens, people who cross-dress, all of that nature to be illegal in different parts
Mhm.
of our country, of the United States. And that's just going on, just going on. And
Yeah.
when people talk about, I want a straight pride, I want a straight pride, where's my straight
Mhm.
flag? Be happy you don't need one because you
Mhm.
don't have to Google, am I going to die? Am I going to get
Mhm.
killed if I go to X country? Am I going to go over there and say,
Mhm.
oh, am I gonna am I gonna be able to visit over there? Am I gonna be able to hold
Mhm.
my hands with so and so? It's
That
unconstitutional,
or
but they're still being
Mhm.
passed.
Yeah.
They're
That or
still
also the
being
fact that
passed.
like, can I still marry my partner?
Exactly. That's something
Because like
they've
that
been trying to come
absolutely.
after Obama passed in 2018, 2017.
So that was 2016.
Was it 2016? I think I was still
I
in
think
high
it was
school. Yeah,
2016. I
2016.
think,
Yeah. Was it?
mm,
Was 2016?
I
I
think
think,
so.
oh, you know what?
Was it?
2016, 2017. That's when I graduated. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think about I'm thinking about the school years. Damn. Um,
Honestly, I feel that.
but no, it is. It's insanely wild. It's wild that they
Mhm.
have this much power and that a lot of people, and what's even more wild to me is those LGBT people who are for the bills.
Mhm.
The gay Republicans, the lesbian Republicans, the trans Republicans, even the people of color who are for them. The Latinx,
Mhm.
the Chicano, the Chicanx, all of us who are all of, the Latinx Chicano people who may be for Republican people, for the Republican Party, not to say that the entire Republican Party, obviously, but the ones that are currently up at the moment are the extreme, and that has
Mhm.
become overwhelmingly the norm.
Mhm.
Overwhelmingly the norm. we're gonna have some people. I have friends who are Republican, and I'm just like, why? And they're like, well, not all of us are crazy. I said, not all, but the majority of you guys at the moment are trying to take away all of our rights.
Yeah.
Oh, they can't take this away from me, but it's the same thing. It's exactly. All of those people are shocked, and then they get screwed over. Exactly. What do you think is going to happen once they get rid of all of the transgender individuals to the little gay representative? You know, they're going to come after you next.
Yep, it's like the stuff that's happening also currently in Florida now.
Yeah.
Like the governor banned, because during Pride it used to be that the bridges would light up with rainbow colors for Pride. She has absolutely banned it. Jacksonville actually had a group of people come out with colored flashlights to light up the bridge with their flashlights. Let me see if I can find the picture for it. Here.
Yeah, I believe that's what Raven's talking about right now, Gamma. Is the local LGBT there put their own up. It's super sad, but wholesome at the same time.
I'm also gonna send you this photo real quick.
But even going with that, right? So moving away from political nonsense, because I don't want to make the stream political, because we're talking about within our own community, and just sadly, oh, that's so fucked up. But
because that was done with flashlights by hand.
Jesus.
Because he would not allow the bridge to be lit up for Pride. Any of the bridges in Florida.
That's crazy. That's absolutely wild. But moving towards our own biases, moving away from the political nonsense that is currently going on, talking about the exclusivity in our own world also comes from the sense of the intersectionality of LGBTQIA2S plus individuals, and how a lot of people do not recognize their own privilege while still being queer. There are many, even plenty of individuals who are queer who do not think that they have privilege simply because they are queer. And let me tell you, everybody has a privilege. I have privilege, even though I am a POC, gender non-conforming, queer person. I am still masculine presenting and male presenting. And when someone sees me on the side of the street, I am less likely to be fucked with, because I am also 6'1", 330 pounds. And
I didn't
that
realize
is
you were that tall.
my partner is taller than me, actually.
I'm sitting over here at 5'4".
My partner is taller than me. My friend, I have a good friend too. She's 6'7". She's 6'5", usually 6'7", because she wears heels or boots. She wears like 2 inches, or sometimes she'll put on the stilettos, and I'm like, ooh. But that's my privilege that I have and that I understand and know. But there are some people, most specifically, cis, white, gay, male, who do not understand the privilege that they hold. Even non-male, even female, white, cis, lesbian women who don't understand the privilege that they hold. And although they may have less than the male, or less than the person who is non-gender conforming, or even more than the person who's non-gender conforming, there's still an innate privilege there, especially from skin color, from socioeconomical status. And it's kind of going to lead us into our big thing, which is body size. Because there are so many different factions of the LGBT society, there's so many different factions that I identify. I have it on my head, on my head right here. This is the bear flag. The bear flag, because I am a bear. Both physically and metaphorically. um, but the bear flag is used for chubbier, hairy men. Thank you, May. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That means a lot to us. May says that they've been lurking and they're loving the discussion and it's so needed and we're handling it very well.
Oh.
But I identify as a bear, which is a chubby, hairy man, mostly masculine presenting. I am not a man. I am genderqueer, but I still identify as a more masculine, chubby, hairier person. Some people would categorize me more as a cub, but that's kind of under the bear umbrella. So also, yeah, you can put some honey on me if you want, Sammy. Want to give me some honey? But that being said, um, many portions of even just the gay community, speaking from my own personal experience, aren't very, attracted to bears or to chubby people. People who are slightly overweight, people who are overweight, people who have some more leaven on them, who are hairier, people
Mm-hmm.
who, may not have a chiseled jawline, people with a non-complete beard, people, it's absolutely crazy banana blonde.
I've noticed it tends to also be the butt of a joke in a lot of like media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like the ideology of a bear. It's like, oh, big buff biker dude at a bar. Oh, he's cornering this, and this. It always ends up being like the butt of a joke
Mm-hmm.
in most media.
Which is also leather culture as well. Leather culture and kink culture, which is which not to say completely different, but can be also differential from whether you're known as a leather person or as a what's known as a leather daddy as opposed to a bear. A bear can be a leather daddy. A leather daddy can be a bear, but you can be a leather daddy and not a bear, and you can be a bear and not a daddy. But the two are usually intermingled. I hear that gay men are very picky where they want the men to often just be exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There's this picturesque idea that we have of ourselves, which doesn't necessarily stem from the LGBT, but rather from society itself, where we all want that chiseled, toned, 8-pack man with those, that nice. I noticed the music stopped. With the nice, everything, and you're like, ooh, I want that. I want, the picturesque. I want the person who
Mm-hmm.
is gonna lift me through the threshold, and that all comes from societal standards of what we
Mm-hmm.
as modern society has deemed as attractive and okay, which many of us cannot, you know, but it's not something that's easily fixable. But it is
Mm-hmm.
something that we can understand and we can improve on. And sometimes having those biases that have been going on for so long in our brains, it can be very hard to look past that too. And like I said, having a preference is fine, but having a preference and being discriminatory towards someone simply because of a general fact about their body
Mm-hmm.
for a preference is actually inclusional. I
Mm-hmm.
prefer someone who is, blah, 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 blah. I prefer someone who is kind. I prefer someone who is, this, who adds this. It's not, I prefer someone who isn't. That's not a preference.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer someone who isn't fat, who isn't hairy, who isn't obese. That's not a preference. That's an
Mm-hmm.
exclusion. I want my
Like
man's
preference to. Mhm.
I want my person chubby and soft. I want to cuddle, not cuddling a rock.
What? It's like a preference is like, oh, I prefer dark hair,
Mhm.
but if he
Mhm.
doesn't have it, it's okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because preference
Exactly.
is you prefer it, but you're willing to make an exception.
Exactly. It's not a
Exclusion
no-go.
is, yeah, exclusion is absolutely refusal.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's something that just like Alistair has mentioned, media and movies have ruins the realistic standards that we have.
Hmm.
Can't people say their exclusions are preferences and will argue? Yeah, yeah. People will 100% say that their exclusions are just a preference, but that can
Hmm.
also go from a preference that is maybe something that we view as innocent, like, oh well, he just doesn't want someone who's a little chubby, well, that's okay. But then once we excuse that, we're excusing all the other ones. Because
Hmm.
if we're excusing one thing, we're excusing so many different things where we're saying, well, if I'm just saying that, I'm just saying this. But in a
Hmm.
preference, it's okay if this person isn't blonde, you know?
Hmm.
It's not it's also a part of something that's also very, very prevalent, which I didn't fully understand because I am a Chicano person. I am a Mexican person. I have brown skin, and my partner is black, and he has black features, and he has Afro Latino features because he is black and Mexican. Um, and he has been not only discriminated against, but also his experience is completely different from mine. Whereas I find him attractive, he's told me multiple people who look similar to me because I am his type, bears of that nature, and it doesn't just stop at white twinks being the ones who are discriminatory, because everyone can be discriminatory in a way. People can
Hmm.
exclude others no matter what you look like. But bears, chubby, hairy men who may not be the perfect standard of beauty, as we all know, are also exclusionary towards him simply because of his race as well. Maybe oh, it's because of this. But there's, on the opposite spectrum, is fetishization.
Hmm.
Riven, would you like to take on that?
Yeah, yes, because I've had it actually happen to myself. Like with a partner that's consensual, that's completely understandable and okay. Because normally beforehand you've talked about it, but a lot of times with the community, it's this one idea of this specific body type, and there's especially fetishes with chubbier body types and curvier body types, where it's straight up not even like a oh body positive. It's straight up like over sexualizing it. And because I've had it happen before to me because I'm curvier back when, because I'm curvier because of a medical condition. And back when I used to work at a gas station, I worked there for 3 years. The amount of times I was harassed because of my size was is absolutely insane, because it was always nice thighs, nice ass, nice tits, which I mean that comes with being femme presenting, of course, too. But it's like it's overly done. Like certain portions of me, it felt like it was being essentially looked at as meat. And it's also the same way with the um other parts of the community as well with these plus sized individuals, because of course again you have like the kinks and stuff, of course, and the consensual fetishing, which again it's done by normally partners, or openly put on um like your page as like, hey, this is the fetish that I'm like geared towards, I guess you could say.
And we're not kink shaming at all.
Hmm.
If that is your kink,
Absolutely not.
that's your cup of tea. That is what you're
Hmm.
going to do. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to tell you if it's wrong or not, because that is what you like to do. But just explaining that
Hmm.
there is still consent even within kink community.
Absolutely. Because even if that's your kink, a lot of times you're most likely looking at pages that are consenting to that. That's the audience that they're posting towards. Similar how there's accounts that post their feet. They're consenting to posting that for people with that kink's viewing, if that makes sense.
Obviously, if
And
the kink is non-consensual kinking, or if it's illegal or in any way, shape, or form, obviously that's not
mhm,
something we're talking about, Gamma. There's 100%
yeah,
some kinks that are definitely shameful, but we're
yeah,
talking more along the lines of kinks that are consensual, that are maybe like feet fetishes, maybe
yeah.
BDSM kinks, dom, like stuff like that, but not
Like if
necessarily
mhm.
not necessarily anything illegal.
Yes. Like if there's any like non-consensual type kinks, a lot of times that's only shared with partners,
Mm.
and at that point they already come to an agreed consent beforehand, and a lot of times there's a lot of safe words and different things like that, especially if they're firmly in the community and genuinely wanting to like have their partner's safety in mind, because once they actually pass the point of after a safe word has been used or after the partner has revoked their consent,
Mhm.
that's a whole different story.
That's actually something we're gonna
That's
step on as well a little bit. Gamma is race
mhm,
play. Um, just because you have a kink confession doesn't give you the right to consent to push it on someone. Exactly,
mhm,
exactly.
yep,
Also, hi David, hi Franny, how you doing? But yeah, no, touching also on race play as well. That's something that obviously we're not consenting to or
mhm,
okaying in any sort of way as well. That's also something that is exclusionary, which is what I was going to bring up as well.
mhm.
With my partner being black, he was invited to a what was supposed to be a one-on-one session with him
This will
at
be
Fwanny.
Aren't you the lucky
Oh.
Fwanny.
His cut is perfect and he's pink as well. He'll bring you
Also, side note, I can't say anything about the topic. I am mayonnaise colored.
Oh, thank you, Franny.
Last
Mwah,
time you
mwah,
get
mwah. I
55
love you.
subscriptions
Let's
to the
give Franny a
community.
chew cheer on the count of three, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Chew. I love you, Franny. Oh. This is something that
'Cause
I can touch on because I am
mhm,
Mexican, I am Latinx, I am Chicano, and my
mhm,
partner is black, and I am not speaking for the black community whatsoever. But these are experiences he has shared with
mhm,
me,
mhm,
um,
mhm.
that I can now share with you all. But he was invited to a what was supposed to be one-on-one session with a thicker bear who was white. And when he got there, it was non consensual. It was an orgy. He was not informed about with many, many, many other black individuals in which the person had a racial fetish for.
No.
No told, no anything, no, hey, there's gonna be other people there. Hey, there's gonna be this there. Hey, there's nothing. Exactly. That's what he did, Gamma. That's what he did. He left. He walked out not naked. Not naked. But well, yeah, he walked out. Um
Walked out with his cheeks out.
walked out cheeks out. So the dude was like a white chick sitting on the couch. Yeah. You know the meme? No, yeah. That's exactly what he
Oh,
was. And he hadn't told anyone, and it was all types of screwed up, all types of fucked up. But just going back to our original conversation of exclusivity and inclusivity, there are some people who have racial fetishes who think they are being inclusive because they're over here saying, well, I'm including. No, there's a difference between inclusivity and fetishization of races, which is completely different and completely not okay. Especially, there's so many people, I will tell you this, me and my partner are open, and sometimes on the apps, I will get messages that says, like, Papi, I want to taste your your
Uh,
I want to taste your churro. And I'm like, hey, homie,
uh,
it's not a churro. It's more like chorizo. But there's so many people who they try to justify their racism with it.
yeah.
Gamma says, I had an issue with guys who have issues of being with anyone who have dark skin, finding out there's still negative connotations in many parts of society that see dark skin equals bad or exactly, Gamma.
Yeah.
That's also seen in the Latino community as well. A lot of Mexicans are extremely racist towards darker skinned Mexicans, which I'd like, if there are any other Latinos in chat, I would love for your input as well. Hey, I'm just saying, I'm being honest. I'm not that long for a churro. I'm more of like a thick, chunky chorizo. Hi King Sky, welcome in. Welcome to the Club Arcade. I'm the Very Good Shoe. It's nice to meet you. But oh, there's Lo-Fi. Hey, Lo-Fi, you got one? You got a chorizo too? Do you have a chorizo too? I have a question. Does pineapple belong on? Hell yeah, let's do it. It sounds like pineapple on pizza. Not to be a downer, but I'm pessimistic and I don't see people changing anytime soon. But it's okay. You can be completely pessimistic. That is a-okay. That is your output on life. But we're just here to educate and to explain what is going on in our community. Not to say that we're trying to make them change, but hopefully, that somebody will kind of understand. I had the other side where there's guys that target me sexually because of porn stereotypes. They want the aggressive dom black guy or overly feminine, as this is. Oh, I know exactly. Okay. Yeah. I completely understand. Gamma. That's something that's also very. So my partner, he has different siblings. He has one sibling who is actually straight, and even he is fetishized by straight women. Just to say that even though, we're having this problem in our community, it's also a problem in other communities as well. And it's something that honestly, I think needs to be stopped because I think it's very disgusting. There was also another instance where my beloved, he goes and he shows up on a date with this person. They go, back to the thing. They're starting to do it. And he starts saying he wants his alpha black cock.
Well, I mean ABC.
Just like yeah, he wants that ABC. He wants to learn the ABCs. I know trans men and trans women have those issues much. Oh yes, extremely. A lot of trans individuals, they either want that that feminine, extreme femininity from trans women. And I've actually noticed this, okay, on gay hookup apps. There has been an astounding amount of trans individuals who will go on and specifically, even our trans individuals have an exclusive not preference, but an exclusionary practice where they only want DL trade. Which, if you don't know what DL trade is, it means they want someone who is on the down low, typically straight, with a partner who is conventionally attractive.
Mm-hmm.
The whole alpha beta thing was disproven ages ago by people who conned. Yeah, exactly. I just want to learn about how to best respect people's identities and bake them tasty things. Aw, Dizzy. I used to have an outdated world on trans and B, even though I don't think I'd ever consider myself transphobic, but I feel like I've come a long way since then. I'm glad, Sammy, I'm glad. The amount of married men I've got. Gamma! Ooh, Gamma! Ooh! Spicy
To
little
touch
Gamma.
on a lot of that, to touch on what the comment before, a lot of it is because of just not having the education about it, and just not and essentially not knowing. That's what a lot of it like levels down to for like the community and stuff. It's not that it's any transphobic or homophobic. It's like you don't know, you don't have enough information about it to understand, like how like transitioning works. You don't know that, or don't know like the fact it's like the mind space, or know like about the spectrums and stuff. And that's what a lot of it like again boils down to. It's the lack of information of it.
Exactly. They have a wife and 2 to 5 kids. Like, sir, I'm not trying to cut. No, exactly. See, and that also comes from a differential of community as well, right? There's a lot of this in the predominant. I don't know if it's in the lesbian or sapphic communities, but I know specifically in the gay community there are people who lust, and I'm going to say lust because that's the proper term, lust after married men with wives, married men with kids, because they want that forbidden, they want that like, ooh. But then when people do get it, when people have that and they get it and they're just like, oh, well, this is just like anything else, except it's, I'm actually ruined. When you think about it, you're ruining someone else's relationship by helping them ruin their own. I've been off the apps for at least 2 years as I have steady communication with my set recreational partners. So it's sad to hear things have changed. Yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff that has changed for the better and for the worse, David. Especially, in this day and age where we have multiple people who we're saying that it's okay to come out, right? We're saying it's okay to come out as gay, as trans, as bi, pan. In the beginning of this stream, we went over multiple sexualities, identities, romanticism, sexualities, all of that. And we're saying that we're becoming a more accepting society, and we're becoming a more accepting society for the sexualities and the gender identities, but becoming more exclusionary when it comes to looks, when it comes to race, when it comes to all these other things, which isn't to say that it wasn't there before, but it's been coming on more and more prevalently. And it's something that people, when they think of the LGBTQ, we say there's so much inclusion, there's so much love, there's so much, of everything. Like, it's such a wonderful community. We love being a part of it. We love having those people with us. We love having, gay friends. We love having trans friends, lesbian friends, all of this stuff. But on that other side, the flip side of the coin, or, the dark side of the moon, as they say, there's also this overwhelming exclusivity to it all. The people who don't want to have intercourse with you simply because you may be a little bit overweight and you're not the ideal body shape. There's people who simply might not want to have intercourse with you simply because you are brown or black or, any other sort of color. There are people who are saying, I only get with X, Y, and Z. Exclusionary practices, not preferences like we went over before. Exclusionary. practices. And that's just something we wanted to bring to light because it is something that isn't talked about as often. And as Gamma has stated, you know, there's multiple instances where people have tried and they try and play it off. They try and play it off as preference. And it's very what is it? Shut up, Ruben. My fucking god, Ruben. But this is just something we wanted to bring to light, especially during Pride. Because Pride, the first Pride was a riot, and we should not stop fighting. I feel like sometimes there are moments where we kind of feel almost let down because it's like we have Pride, and some people think that Pride should be over because in certain areas people have gotten what you gays got what you wanted. You got to marry, but that's not it. It's not until all of our brothers, sisters, and non-binary and gender non-conforming and agender, you know, family in the LGBTQIA2S plus, say the full fucking term if you're going to say it, because there are so many people, especially gays, mostly cis het white gays, I'm going to say it because that is the majority, who say LGB no T or LG. There are even some who don't even want bisexual, or even people who say GB because they don't want lesbians in them. I find it's either not talked about or encouraged by some sets of communities. I know in my city, sadly, the larger or louder section must be very XYZ to be accepted by the gay community because they are issues. Say it because it's true. Exactly. And that's something that, as you know, queer individuals, unfortunately, we have to speak up and speak out upon, even within our own communities. And if that makes us seen as outcasts, if that's made us seen as also sorry, I'm so sorry that all of my stream elements that have been popping up at the moment are all personal, but if you would like to, I really encourage you, if you're thinking you would like to give me sort of any sort of monetary value, save your money and donate to any of these wonderful, amazing charities. We have Lambda Legal, GSA Network, Pride Foundation, the Trevor Project. I'm not sponsored by any of them, but they all hold a spot near and dear to my heart. You can go out and check out any of their websites. That is what I would love this Pride season more than anything, is that if you would like to support me by supporting them. You can even put XOXO Chubu in your little message or anything like that. And I would love to see it. But
real quick, I do highly recommend the Trevor Project. I tend to do charity streams near yearly. This year, unfortunately, because of the way things line up, I'm not going to be doing one because I don't want to ask too much of my community at the moment. Next year, I do plan on doing 2 of them. Trevor Project will be one of them. Sorry, just want to do a little self-advertisement there.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Go for it. You're my guest. But with that being said, as queer individuals, we have to be able to have these conversations. And it's hard. It's very hard because we're here and we're talking about it and we're saying, you know, like, oh shit, that does happen in the community, doesn't it? Or oh shit, I did used to be a part of that family. Or oh shit, I did used to think that way. And that is perfectly okay. Overcoming these exclusivities and these biases is totally fine. It's the conversations that we need to have. It's sad that these people are. Take your time. It's sad to say that these people use these rights that people fought for them to have to only exclude the same group that started the fight. Stonewall was the LGBT plus movement that started POC overwhelming films more and more, like they want to close the door. Exactly. Black trans women led our way. Black trans individuals, Black gender non-conforming individuals, POC individuals in the queer community led the way. So don't flip the script and say they didn't do shit for us, because they did the most. They did the most for us, especially gay men, especially gay men during the HIV AIDS pandemic, epidemic, when we were dropping like flies. They did so much for us. All visual novel game, including Monster Poem 2. Speaking of Trevor Project Humble bundle currently has a story pride bundle that supports the. I saw that. I want to get into. I want to buy that actually. Sorry. I love having combos. I love learning and understanding about the new and the old, and also sharing myself and what I know. They fought so we could talk. Exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. And chat, if you have any sort of questions, any sort of statements that you would like to let be known, to put out there, or anything like that, please, this is an open discussion between me, Raven, and with you all, so that we can maintain an educated stance on the LGBT. This particular educational stream is all about inclusivity and exclusivity. Inclusivity in how the LGBTQIA2S plus has so much to include. We have so many different sexualities, genders, romanticism, sexual, like everything. We have so much, and we like to say that we have our own found families as well. Hello, K-pop boy 97. Welcome to the Club Arcade. I'm the Bear Who Cares Chewmonkey. It's nice to meet you. But we like to say that we have our own found families. Right? We find our own families most of the time. We find our friends who are accepting. We find, people, maybe, hopefully, cousins in our own families and everything like that, who are accepting of us, who love us, who cater to us, and who have become sort of like our bundles of joy in life. And they love and include us, and we go out and we try to exclude others. That's not okay. Thank you, K-pop boy. I really appreciate it. Welcome back,
Hi, I'm
Raven.
Sorry, I have boomer parents, so I have to try and explain. It's a cell phone outage. It's not. We did not miss a bill. It's the network. I promise. I do not control the network.
Yeah, of course. See, that's there's many different instances, right? Where people have grown and changed, maybe because they have a partner who is trans, maybe because they have a cousin who has come out as gay or bisexual or a lesbian or anything like that, right? And it is okay. That's positive. It's good. Change is something that can happen both good and negatively. At the moment, there is a lot of negative change happening, but we are hoping for some more positive change to reinforce it. I also want to take a moment to drag companies. Rainbow washing is a real thing. I feel like Pride Month's a bit too commercialized, because a lot of the big moments of history for the community is being removed and erased by companies who say they're allies. They do not care. They jump in for a quick buck and jump out. Exactly. We have to have a little rain for the rainbow, precisely too. That actually brings us to rainbow washing as well, which is supposed to be exclusionary and inclusive at the same time, which is a very difficult stance, because it drains a lot of the community, right? Because one, holy crap, finally we're getting recognized. Finally, we're getting, merchandise for my queer community that I haven't had in a while, from, some place that I've been going to for so long. Wow, I'm so happy that I get this. But it only happens during Pride Month.
I will say one thing. support small businesses and local businesses that have
Mm-hmm.
actively
Mm-hmm.
had some form of pride stuff throughout the year, because pride isn't just 1 month, it is
Exactly.
your constant life, because you
Exactly.
should be proud of who you are.
Period. And that's sweet, Sammy. And being inclusive and letting people know. That's the one thing that I've always been proud of, is that I'm very, very inclusive, to where I let even the little middle schoolers where I work know, like, hey, you need to talk about anything, I'm here.
Mhm.
And then I do my little gay thing, and my little limp wrist. I'm like, wink, wink. I'm like, I know you're gay. I don't say that. I don't say that. But
Honestly, I feel that, like, that's another big struggle, is being learning, trying to figure out your whole identity, whether it's your gender identity or sexual identity or romantic identity, especially as like a young adult.
mm-hmm.
Like, it's even harder, especially depending on the location you're at. Like, where I grew up out is essentially out in the boonies. I'm down in the Bible Belt, where it's a lot more difficult to actually, not always, it mainly depends on the person, but it does sometimes feel more difficult to want to accept yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because of how people around you are going to take that,
Exactly. Exactly.
because of where you're from.
Rainbow washing and queer baiting, because individuals be also, yup, yup, but that's another thing. That's another thing.
Mhm.
Straight, heterosexual, cis men, right?
Mhm.
So many of them. Conventionally attractive cishet men posing as gay online for money has been such a big issue. If we just open the door
Mhm.
with the VTuber, even in the VTuber community, even in our little
Oh,
niche online
absolutely.
community, so much queer
Absolutely.
baiting. I'd rather someone be openly anti-LGBT because I know who to stay away from, versus someone who lies and exactly, precisely,
Mhm.
precisely. Also, by the way, I accept PP pics in my DMs. I accept PP pics in my DMs.
Damn, for free, not even the $5 picture.
Yay to once! Oh my gosh! Happy birthday, Rose! Happy birthday!
Ooh.
Excuse me, nothing, Yuki. I didn't say anything. Hi, Yuki. Welcome in. I didn't say anything. Uh,
I
but
ironically enough, speaking of like $5,
hello.
that reminds me of one of my accounts. I had one of those like quote unquote like pay pig accounts to be like, hey, message me here and here
Oh,
for I'll pay your rent. I'm just like, my links are my bio. If you're serious, go donate there. If not,
period.
get out of my DMs. I pay per message.
Exactly. Hello, Bloody Demon Rose. Welcome to the Cub Arcade and Behuga's Chewu. It's nice to meet you. I've been getting a lot of hate for being ace, so it's been hard to accept that part about myself. Oh no, Zuzu. See, this is the reason why we have, you know, the
Mhm.
Cub Arcade. This is why at least my reason why I opened up my community. Um,
Mhm.
one, because I know exactly how it feels to be
Mhm.
how it feels to be hated against and
Mhm.
bullied for being queer. And that
Mhm.
happened most of my elementary to middle school life. Um, Fortunately for me, I grew very large. Um, I'm over 6 foot, and I also did wrestling and football in high school, so high school wasn't a problem for me. But um, even from fellow queer people, that's how you know it. It can be a very harsh problem. I
Mhm.
had somebody who had apparently a crush on me, which I only found out later, who would constantly bully me in middle school, saying, "Well, where are you gonna go? You're an it. I don't know where you're gonna go. Are you gonna go in the girls' room or the boys' room? Ew, he's next to you. Ew, why is he next? You're gonna let him just be next to you while you're
Ooh.
changing? You need to face the other way. No." And he would do that for most of my 7th grade life into my 8th grade, and then I think he left. And then one night I was on the apps, and he hits me up and he tells me, "Oh hey, I always thought you were so cute and this and that." I'm like,
Oh.
"You made my life hell when I was in 7th grade.
Mm,
Why? Why would I give you a shot?" Which I understand at the time, they were dealing with their own feelings, but those were my feelings
mhm,
as well.
absolutely. That honestly, a similar boat is why middle school plus also body issues and stuff like that. I was so worried about something similar happening because again, I was still questioning my everything. I refused to change in the locker rooms. I would always go to the bathrooms to change because I was so worried about someone finding out or whatever. And they would accuse me. I was like, "Oh, you're staring at my tits? You like my tits, don't you?" And stuff like that. I was so worried about it because of where I'm at.
Mhm. Mhm.
Either that or getting like a Bible speech like I did today.
Oh god. Yeah, yeah. It's
I love my coworker, but oh.
and it just kind of goes to show, especially for so many individuals out there, there's different things that we all go through, and the inclusivity and the exclusivity of our own community, and the
Mhm,
negativity of our own community, and the positivity that we all bring, it's all intertwined.
mhm,
And whether we like it or not, it's something that we need to talk about. It's something that is worthy of having this conversation. I'm glad I've been able to touch on with you, Raven. Um,
mhm, mhm.
and if anyone else has any questions, if you want us to go over any topics again, a little overview. We went over all the sexualities, we went over gender a bit, we went over sexuality versus romanticism. We did a little bit on asexuality. We went over the oh yeah, send them my way. We went over quite a few things.
We
Um,
talked about like the fetish versus
mhm,
like
mhm,
genuine consents and all that.
mhm, mhm. And how there's a difference between fetishization, or there's a difference between kinks and
Mhm,
fetishization. Which fetishization of race and different and illegal stuff, completely no, no,
mhm.
absolute no. But if you got that
Consent is
little
key.
that little foot fetish, you got a little bit of a pit fetish. I mean, I'm with you there, homie. I'm a sniffer. That go. I'm a sniffer. Put me in
Up in
there.
those cheeks, just
Oh yeah. I'm a
gotta
sniffer.
get in,
I'll get
gotta
in
get in between
between.
those titties. Just
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love when they get that nice grip in the back of the neck, and they just lift their arm and they're just fetish versus kink fetish. You need to live kink. You enjoy it, but without it, this is what a person. Oh, okay. You a sniffer? Oh, damn. But I get. Ooh. Oh. I don't know. Actually, well, that seems like another talk we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to have one of my kink friends come on and help me talk about kinks and fetishes together, because I'm not an expert on it and I don't want to spread any misinformation.
Mhm. I'm just a kinky bitch, so
Yes, yes, we'll definitely be doing a kinky kinks and fetishes stream. I'll see. Maybe I can get my friend Podge. Maybe I can get my friend Podge if they're available on any of the days. That would be super good. Super, super good. My friend Podge is very, very kink positive. Um,
mhm.
and I would love to have them on. Would love to have them, especially for
Absolutely understand
for our,
that.
our queer community. Um,
Honestly, I do see a lot of like kink stuff and some like the 18 plus parades and like kink gear and all that. And honestly, I like in depth about like the BDSM community and the safety needed for it and the trust and all
Yes.
that behind it.
Yes. Yeah, see, that's something that we can have another stream about too. Especially another educational stream about, because I feel like that is
Yeah.
something that should be educated on. Where so it doesn't get such, I feel like it gets a little bit of a bad light, a bit of a negative light, since people don't
Mm.
understand it. No?
To me, I feel like it's over stigmatized because of 50 Shades of Grey. That
Yeah,
has
yeah.
ingrained the thought of like, that's what BDSM is. That is what kink is when it's
Yep.
not. The amount of absolute dangerous shit that they did in that is ridiculous because
Mhm.
you have to have the safe words. You have to go through and actually
Yeah,
talk with your
yeah.
partner and have a mutual understanding of this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
anything is wrong, you
And
say this. If you
the
cannot
trust level
say
you have to
this.
have with your partner,
Exactly.
immense, immense. Because if you don't trust somebody and you're going into it, that's not.
Mhm.
But
And if you're
we
doing any
will.
like sensory
Mhm.
stuff,
Oh,
uh
ooh, oh my
because you have
goodness.
to have like not just like if you have like something where you can't talk, you need to have like a code that you a motion that you make with your hand or a
Uh huh.
tapping
Uh huh.
or something so that other person also knows that they need to stop if they need to,
Precisely. Precisely.
because
Precisely.
that is a huge thing with it,
Mm-hmm.
and not like a lot of that's another thing that honestly I feel like gets abused within the LGBT community and most communities is that lack of communication and all that and thinking, oh, we're doing this so I have your full consent, you and that consent later on being revoked, because
Yep. Yep. Which I mean,
that's a big thing.
I feel like that's a good stopping point too, just to
Mhm.
maintain, the inclusivity exclusivity talk. But that is a very
Yeah.
very good point to touch on, and
Mhm.
I'll definitely be writing that down. But
Mhm.
now we're gonna move on to a little bit of fun time. Me and Raven are gonna be
Yeah.
gamers. Do
Yay.
you want to do Overwatch?
You know Overwatch.
Do Overwatch. We're gonna be doing some Overwatch. Um, we're going to be doing a quick little 3-minute ad. You all know I only do the 3-minute ad so you guys can get that so y'all can get that free hour of stream, of that Google stream. I apparently I'm a liar and I cannot do the ad, but we're gonna be going. we're gonna be We're gonna be going BRB real quick, and then we will come back and we'll be doing some Overwatch. All right. See you in a
Okay.
little.